Beijing becomes the stage for an unprecedented demonstration of courage and a cry for freedom as students bravely unite in defiance against authoritarian rule. But their call for change is met with brutality. On April 21st, 1989, the Tiananmen Square protests begin. Reform-minded Communist Party leader Hu Yaobang is deposed in 1987. He dies in 1989. 6 days later, Chinese students gather at Tiananmen Square in Beijing to commemorate Hu and protest the authoritative policies of China's communist government. What starts as a small demonstration soon turns into a massive movement, with tens of thousands joining in. For weeks, the protesters occupied the square, calling for democratic reforms and an end to corruption. But on June 3rd, Chinese troops begin forcibly clearing Tiananmen Square, using tanks and live ammunition. Hundreds of protesters are killed, and thousands are arrested in this brutal crackdown. The events of Tiananmen Square in 1989 sparked global outrage, leaving a scar on China's history. Coming up, we'll learn more about the most iconic moment of the Tiananmen Square protests. Also, don't forget to check out Today in History in my Teachers Pay Teachers store. There's a link in the description. So perhaps the most famous moment of the Tiananmen Square protests is the so-called Tank Man, who brazenly stands in front of a column of tanks leaving the square on June 5th, the day after the massacre. As the lead tank maneuvers to get past him, the man shifts his position to block the tank's path. This forces the tank to stop to avoid running him over. It has become one of history's most iconic images and a symbol of courageous protest. The identity of the Tank Man is still unclear, and his fate after the incident is unknown. There are many conflicting theories. The Chinese government has made few statements about the event and, not surprisingly, has censored the footage and photographs. In 2000, Mike Wallace interviews then Chinese President Jiang Zemin on 60 Minutes. In the interview, Jiang claims that the Tank Man was never arrested and states, quote, "I don't know where he is now," end quote. Jiang goes on to point out in the interview that the tank stopped and did not run the man over, emphasizing the Chinese government's argument that the incident is evidence of the humanity of the country's military. The events at Tiananmen Square remain a dark chapter in China's history, and the government heavily censors any mention of the protests. Today, we remember the bravery and sacrifice of those who stood up for their beliefs, even in the face of violence and oppression. I'd love to hear from you. What do you think happened to the Tank Man? Let me know in the comments. Also, please be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps my channel. And there are more Mr. Lewis videos that you can watch, including these videos about the Cold War and this other great video here. Thanks for watching.